Mythic Lyn is here, and she's busted. This is a wild banner with a lot of different things going on. I try really hard not to say this, but this is a banner that really needs us to be able to get this in and play with it. There are a lot of new things here. I'm going to try to work through these the best that I can, and if I have retractions or changes or anything like that, I will put them in the comments. Be on the lookout for that. If you see something that's wrong, let me know. We're going to figure this out, though. Let's talk about Emblem Corrin first, because I was dead certain that this was going to be Roy. Absolutely 100% was Roy. Only, it wasn't. If you remember, Corrin in Engage just had tons of terrain effects, and we get that here too. Sword armor, and this isn't quite a far save. This is a magical save, which may be the way that they do this from now on. It also takes 4 pages to get through this mess. Okay, so Sword of Fate. We have Slaying, Distant Counter, and start of player or enemy phase. If you're within 2 spaces, you get Draconic Hex and Piercing equals 50%, and that's 2 units within 2 spaces of you as well. Start of combat, you get 14 bonus points. You get true damage equals 20% of this unit's res, flat DR at 20% of this unit's res, and special DR with 20% of this unit's res. And no follow-up. This is a pretty simple weapon. This is good though. Like, this is all the things that you want. Excellent, a really good foundation. Let's look at what's next though, because we have more things coming. And this is the special to end all specials. It takes an entire page of tiny font, and it takes me 2 cheat sheets to get through it. So all right. So 3 cooldown special is boost damage by 60% of res, null guard, as damage reduction of 40%. That doesn't include AoEs. You do a res check, and you check the gap between your res and the opponent's res. This is a max of 10. And it lowers the speed gap by 10, increases the speed gap for the foe follow-up by 10. We've seen this effect before. And then start of enemy phase, you apply Icicle and Vert. There is a pattern to that, and we'll get to that here, because if I try to describe it, it will get ugly. Let's talk about what those 2 things are, though. Divine Vein Ice, you guys have this. Like, you know what this is. This is the unbreakable structures that pop up. This is Ice Lock. You've got that. Divine Vein Vert. Okay, so this prevents warp in and out. So this is the same thing we had with Ratatoskr. And it inflicts Canto control on foes who trigger Canto. Inflicts attack speed -5 and special cooldown charge -1 per attack. And if foe special triggers on attack, inflicts special cooldown count +1. This isn't particularly amazing, except when you look at the sheer range of it all, because it is a large area that is covered. We're going to get to that in a second. I want to move on to the other things, because we do have new stuff here as well. This is a ton of new stuff. Torrential Boost. We've seen these boosts before. This is the attack speed res version, which, I mean, that's pretty nice. Hair Up 4. I'm still unpacking this. This looks really good, though. If unit is within 3 spaces of an ally, inflicts attack speed -4 on foe, increases speed difference necessary for foe to make a follow-up by 10, neutralizes penalties, unit deals +15 of damage, and reduces damage from foe's attack by 10 during combat. And also, if foe triggers, attacks twice, it reduces by an additional 7. If unit is within 3 spaces of an ally and foe initiates combat, reduces damage by an additional X times 2. X equals distance from unit to foe, including area effect specials. That's a very big way of saying your Byleths and your Celicas of the world, no. That's so mean. So mean. Anyway, so speed res, Briar, magic save. So it's possible this is a new thing they're doing, where they're just going to continue doing magic and melee save. I don't know what to do about that. That is interesting. But this is Briar that we're all familiar with, and magic save. This unit is made for this, but also most of our major threats are melee. I'm on the fence with this. Like, as of right now, you probably want to swap this out, but we don't really know stats on this unit yet. She may just have a dump stat in defense. I have estimated that her stats are going to be a lot like Duo Corrin, so the young Corrin duo. And I think that should be about right, but we'll talk about the effective stats in just a second here, but we'll get to that. I question the usefulness of this unit. The big reason for that is you do have physical save that you can put on units, but then you're going to have to fodder off specifically Ecthenir. Anyway, someone's going to come up with a busted way to use this, I promise you. This is interesting, though, and I feel like the magical portion is less of a priority. There we go to our fourth page, even though it's just a little bit of one, we still did get there. And we have the emblem effect, and that is very easy. You add on extra boost damage based on the cooldown, and then you get the ice effect and the vert effect put on whatever unit gets that ring. Now you notice that is on enemy phase, which makes things interesting. And I think from here, I want to let this roll, and I want to talk about just where this effect is landing. And you can see covers area, blah, 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 shields allies, wonderful. And you can see specifically she's going up against Celica because Celica does have that 3 range attack. So that pair up 4 is giving her extra reduction against this unit. So also the hand growing is kind of freaky. Wait. Notice all of that mess. That is nutty. How much of this is covered in ugly terrain effects. That is crazy. Just a crazy amount of stuff here. So, the thing that we need to understand is how the order of this lays out. And specifically in regards to Camilla, if this cancels Camilla's stuff out, then that changes the way we look at this unit, and things could get very interesting for that ring specifically. So just keep that in mind. That is an interesting thing, and we'll talk about assumptions there, but you can see Canto Control takes over, the unit only goes back 1. You see that in both phases. It's interesting. That is just so much terrain. I want to go through this. It shows you have all this, but I want you to see how it gets laid out when it's on Veil, because this is important. Veil goes in and attacks. Of course she wins. This is just standard green mana key. We don't care. Come on. Veil goes boom. Fantastic. So now we have the stuff that goes everywhere. You notice that started on enemy phase, and you notice how far it goes out. Like, that is a good amount of terrain there. So we will see how that goes. But this has some really interesting implications, especially with the whole on enemy phase thing that we're really just gonna have to play with. Let's move on to the damage analysis. I had to do this twice because I did this wrong the first time. I believe I got it right this time. And 77 flat DR. That is everything at its max. So understand that. There are some things that could lower that, but that is still a ton of flat DR. We are way up in the range of nearing Boulder. Like that is a lot. True damage of 49 is decent. Normally you don't see just a ton of that on these types of units. That is for a savior. That is really good though. And Most likely you're going to want to put Erica Ring on this unit because everyone wants Erica Ring, but that's good. And then a boosted damage of 82 is also very, very good. This unit is going to hit hard, and that is a big thing in enemy phase now, is the ability to be able to smack things back and win. That's important. There are a lot. The nukes are getting bulkier and bulkier, and so being able to win with true damage and boosted damage is important. I want you to also notice the attack speed defense res, 97 attack, 85 speed, defense of 73, and a res of 84. These are all fairly high, but they're fairly balanced. Remember we talked about, like, when you look at an exceptional stat, it's when it crosses 100. This very much seems even. This is based on young Corrin, though. So that could change depending on what we find out on this unit stats. Just keep that in mind. We need to get to the tier lists, though. Okay, first up we have the Emblem Heroes, and this was hotly debated in the Discord. So the debate is whether this is top of tier 1 or bottom of tier 0. I do not believe this is better than the Erica Ring. The Erica Ring is just universally good right now. It is very, very good. Until we see how it interacts, I am hesitant to put it in tier 0 next to Erica Ring. But I've been back and forth on that a lot. This has some potential to be very, very valuable. So just keep that in mind. Also, this ring is going to be so annoying in arena. So annoying. Just be on the lookout for that. They continue to make arena just more and more difficult. I really, really hate it. But let's move on and talk about Far Saviors, which is where I have this unit, because most of the magical units you're going to go up against are ranged. It's a hard comparison to make, though, because we are making that shift to magical saves now, and it changes things a bit. It flavors things differently. I have her right now behind Ecthenir and behind BK. In case you're wondering, so if you are prioritizing just summoner duels, Ecthenir and BK swap. But I think for everything else, I still think BK, because of the support he gives and because of how strong he is, I still have him as the best far save in the game. Ecthenir is very, very good, though, and we continue to find new ways to use him and take advantage of his just insanity. That's all. I don't see as many special things about Corrin, but again, it depends on how we figure out how we're going to use this terrain that she's got. There's a possibility for that to swap, and tier 0 has always been a spot where it depends on what your priorities are. So understand that. I still think this is a very good unit. I think she has more bulk than the other two of these units, but because right now I still have her in the magical save category, I feel like her role is less important. You can argue that all day long. The other thing to understand, I know I'm probably going to get some pushback, like I still have Myrrh here. Saviors are very, very top heavy. That's actually most things in the game. The tier gap in this case between tier 0 and tier 1 is that there's a gap that is there. Tier 1 to tier 2, there is a big gap. Tier 2 to tier 3 is an even bigger gap. So understand, take into account tier gaps there. But yes, the big takeaway I want you to look at this is Corrin is very good, and we have, I think we may be finding ways to use her even more. For now, though, this is my ranking for her. So I have questions on Corrin and how to use her, although I think we will find ways. And then we have Lyn, who I think is just absolutely busted. This is our first ranged beast. You can't make this stuff up. I don't even know what to do with this. This is nutty. So this is from Fire Emblem Shadows, which there's been a lot of hubbub about. And this is where we're at. We're going to go over this. This is Winds of Duality. This is a beast unit that we're going to see in just a second has a range of 2 because she has a bow. Oh, fun. Okay, Winds of Duality. Slaying. Effective against flying because it's a bow, kind of. Start of turn, if HP is greater than 25%, inflicts exposure, speed shackle, and defense shackle on closest foes and those within 2 spaces. Remember, though, start of turn is never as valuable as, mid-turn. So just take that into account. And then we've got actually just the standard beast transform stuff. I'm not going to go over that, but start of combat, if transformed or HP is greater than 25%, you get a bonus equal to, it's a conditional 14, a true damage of max of 25, a flat DR of max of 15, and potent follow-up 100% if speed check, blah, blah, blah. Okay, this is not incredibly complicated. This is very, very good. This is all the things you want. You pay attention to that true damage number of 25. That's excellent. You know what? I'm not gonna go too long on that. Nimble Beast is also good. It's kind of perfect for what this unit wants to do, and we'll talk about that more in just a second. Reject Tyranny, that takes up an entire page because this is really interesting. We get start of turn, if HP is greater than or equal to 25% to self and allies within 2. Piercing of 50%. And a style. You can grant these now. There's a thought that you want to be careful not to give this to a duo unit that you're trying to, use the duo skill. But still, it grants range of 2 to Lance, Axe Dragon, and Beast allies within 2 spaces. By the way, I forgot to mention, this is a light mythic. Light mythic. You're going to see this unit a ton. All right, start of combat. You get an Omni plus X plus 8, and that is X equals the movement. Most of the time it's going to be conditional 11. True damage, max of 12. Flat DR, max of 12. Special damage reduction, max of 12, and nullifies guard. Okay, then you get preempt pulse of, most of the time, 2, and then that 2 range. This is just an A skill. Remember, this is not a weapon. This is an A skill. This is normally the kind of content we get in a weapon. But giving out the style that makes everyone 2 range. I have questions. Like, can this be cleansed? Is that something like, can Thor cleanse this? I have questions. This is wild though, especially in a light mythic. I can't. I want you to take into, I really think about the fact that Cam is now 7 range. 6 wasn't enough. 7 is the new range for Cam. I don't even know what to do with that. This is wild. All right, moving on. Okay. Bestial Agility. We've seen it. I am trying to think of a better beast skill because I feel like one exists, but it's not coming to me right now because I'm focused on Dark Beast Force. Inflicts speed defense -4 on foe. It gives feud. It nullifies penalties, and it gives +5 damage during combat. That's one of the best C skills in the game. Just flat out. One of the best C skills. Hold on, I have pulled up here. I believe this is only available with beasts, but yes, okay. All beasts can use this, all of them. So that is nutty. It's so nutty. I don't even know what to say to that. Yeah. Oh man, I forgot to say, pair up can be used on infantry units as well. But I don't know that changes too much of what we talked about that, but yes, pair up. Anyway, back to this. Beast Force. Really, really good C skill. This is another one though that understand this is a great C skill. The number of units that can use this is very low, but if you have one of those, you're going to be incredibly happy. So happy. That is nuts. This unit is nuts. The downside is you absolutely will suffer from beast skill inheritance because they really don't get a lot. But I feel like I'm nitpicking at a unit that is just bonkers good. Let's continue on and just take a peek. I normally we don't look at the highlights, but I kind of want to here. We just saw Lyn go from one range and do this, so you know she still has the bow thing that we're looking at. So here we go. So there's the style, and she has given it out to her FE7 friends here in Hector and of course Elwood. And off we go. We have 2 range versus Seliph. Not a big deal, but yeah. The big thing you're going to want to look at here is the fact that Elwood does get it and Elwood goes bonkers. Again, though, I want to know if this is cleansable. I'm so curious. Like, does Thor cleanse this? I have so many questions because if Thor cleanses this, there's some different things that could happen. Like Thor's value goes up even further. And it was already crazy. But again, a lot of this, we have to play with it. This is game-changing stuff. How could he not double Sothis, by the way? Okay, we don't have to go over that more. Let's move on to damage analysis. And so flat DR of 39, and this is a nuke. Flat DR of 39 for a nuke is really good. I've got this on the scale of everyone. If I was on the scale of nuke, then this would be over in the green territory, and that's excellent. True damage of 68. Whew. That's a lot. You're getting into cam ranges, but keep in mind what I'm showing is an average cam, and cam is uncapped. So she has a higher ceiling. But that still should give you an idea of how hard this unit is going to hit, especially with potent. I mean, the ideal for her is that she survives with that high flat DR and frankly high bulk, like effective stats of 98, 81, 68, 61. This is not too far off from what we saw with Corrin. Keep that in mind. This is a bulky beast unit, even though I keep looking at her as a cav. This is not. This is a beast unit with 2 range. So, yes. And we also have percent DR that I haven't discussed here, and Nimble Beast and everything else. This unit is going to be able to take a hit most of the time. Not like a... she's not going to be able to take a BK hit. Like, if you have reflect damage, it's going to just smash her. But still, she's going to be able to take a lot of hits. Boosted damage of 40 is okay, but again, that's Nimble Beast is sacrificing boost damage for more durability, and I think that's the way you want to play this unit, but we'll have to get her into testing. I mean, but it's going to be so hard for me because I'm going to keep thinking of her as a ranged bow unit because she looks that way, and she's going to have all beast inheritance, which is just... they're just trying to break my brain. They're trying really hard. I swear I did not plan this. I just got very, very lucky. I just made Do Desk Masks, and they include Lyn and Corrin. And I think these look great. The Ike one as well. I really love doing these. I love looking at this concept art and putting it all together. Go check that out in the store. The link is above my head or in the description. Light Mythics. I did not expect to do light rankings. Is possible that I missed something on this because we had to do this very, very last minute. I think this unit is tier 0. I think the gap between tier 0 and tier 1 is big. Honestly, I think it's big. This is a very, very powerful unit. Tier 1, I still have Rune above Peony. but the fact that there is a second unit that gives you the 7th slot means that we might swap things around there. But still, I do think Rune is good, but the level of support and the everything else, like it's Lyn is a better unit altogether, and probably will be for much longer, just because that is so unique to give out that range of 2. Like that is, well, it's unique now. Maybe they're about to throw that around everywhere. I don't know. I have Hresvelgr bringing up the tail end of that. Uncapped damage. If this unit could have inherited air superiority, it is likely that I would have moved her into tier 0, but that didn't happen. So we're still safe from those shenanigans. Tier 2 are units that still keep their preference weapon, and this is weird. I think Dogger just continues to find places to be used as a light mythic. Dogger is really good and can help in a variety of different teams. Even if you have to break her down into just a support bot, I still think that Pathfinder is very, very good. Even though being in the same season with Loki does hurt that a little bit because it's harder to give that out. I'm a big Dogger fan. I am still a Lumera fan, but if I were to put like trending lines on there, I think Dogger's staying flat. I think Lumera is trending down. Right now when I run Lumera, I actually run Barricade on her, but that is, you know, that gets into personal preference. I do think that she is versatile enough that she belongs in this tier though. I'm gonna get angry grams about this one. Tier 3. I've looked at this, I've had discussions, I have seen these 2 units in action. They require not a complete overhaul, but they require a lot of different things in their kits. But I feel like their support capabilities, because of their inheritables, are very, very good. And that is wild for me to put them above Ashe and Asker, who I would have sworn to you that their refines were going to save them. And instead, I've actually, they got their refines and I've moved them down. Like that hurts my soul. Nerthuz is up there. She gets the same inheritables as Freyr, but there are some things in Freyr's weapon that I still think are very valuable, like Kanto. So I understand. Yeah, light mythics are almost always usable, so understand that. We get down into tier 5, and we have Uller. You can still boost her up, but she's losing any way to be valuable. We have Milla next, and Milla can have Barricade. Barricade is good, but yeah, tier 5. And then you have Gateau. And I mean, poor Gateau. I know some Gateau fans. I know I've seen the lengths you go through to get him to work. But right now, nah, I've got him as the worst light mythic. I'm sorry, guys. It's poor Gateau. But anyway, this is, understand that all light mythics are inherently good because they're good with merges. Like that, they increase your score because of merges, and so they are usable. So understand that. But as Asker breaks my heart. Let's move on to something a little more positive though, and let's look at ranged nukes. Where else am I going to put this unit? I mean, do I rank her as both a ranged and a melee nuke? I think her primary role is going to be ranged, and so that's why I have her here. But I mean, this just broke my brain. I have magical save that apparently I had to make a tier list just for that, and now I have nukes. Maybe that's it. I just need to say nuke because everyone can have 2 range. Range doesn't even matter. It can be anything. Lyn has 6 range. Cam has 7 range. What is this world we're living in? I have Crom above her. And I think, well, no, I know I know I would rather have Chrom every day of the week. Chrom is sick. Just a fantastic unit. The fact that I have Horse Girl Lyn up this high should tell you how high I am on the unit. I think she hits very, very hard, and I think that she supports in a unique way that right now cannot be replicated. So that is why tier 0 is there. You guys are going to see Baldur there. I still have Baldur tier 0. There are some inklings, though, that she might be pushing down to tier 1, which I know feels so soon. But again, we talked about this back in the CYL tier list. For all of the other units, we recovered some new way to use them. And Baldur is still Baldur. And it was one of the risks we talked about is there's not a whole lot of good inheritables for flying ranged units. So I guess you could say the same thing about ranged calves. So there is that. But that giving out a style, that is not a phrase I thought I would use this year. But yeah, that is something. That is something else. Be on the lookout. If you don't have T Veronica, or if you haven't met T Veronica, she's vicious. She is absolutely vicious. And if she's not on your radar, she should be. She is a nutty unit. But Lyn is something altogether different. All right, I'm copping out. I just am. I am giving rank 1 to both red and green. I am so tempted to give rank 1 to just green, though. This is a light mythic and 2 attuned units. That is a very good share. Really good share, especially for how powerful Lyn is. And I can't believe there are 3 light mythics on this, by the way. That is nutty. But yeah, that is where we're at. BK. We are starting to get counters to BK. He doesn't have quite the same oomph as he used to. I still think he's fantastic. Machua, I think this unit is better than we give her credit for, but she's a rearmed unit. So being a fodder factory is good. And Corrin, the verdict is still out. I think this unit is going to be excellent, though, and I guarantee you're going to want a one-off of that ring. But, that is a lot to summon for, isn't it? I don't know about you guys, but my orbs are hurting. Do we need to talk about rank 4, rank 3, any of those? Rank 3, Crestfelger is still good. I still like Ethos, and I still like Lumera. Those are good, solid units that I still think perform roles. Rank 4, Colorless. Loki is excellent. Really good. These 2 dragons are not. Naga is a good support in a sea of really amazing supports. So that's what we've got. That's just it. If you are still working on your formas, I have a whole video on that. I worked really hard to update that with a lot of your changes. Go check that out. Members, you are amazing. Thank you for all that you do, specifically Albert and CJ for sitting with me for an hour trying to work out what exactly this mess was. Thank you. Take care and schedule an appointment with your FEHologist real soon.